You don't need a $200 mesh system to fix a Wi-Fi dead zone. If you have an old router and one Ethernet cable, you can turn that router into a second Wi-Fi access point in about 5 minutes. And here's the best part. Your second router can provide Wi-Fi in the exact area where your signal is weak. No expensive mesh system, no monthly fees, and no reason to throw away that old router. In this video, I'll show you exactly how to connect the two routers, which settings to change, and the one cable connection that makes all the difference. Let's do it. You only need 3 things: your main router that's already connected to the internet, a second router, and one Ethernet cable. That's it. Most home routers can be used this way, especially if they support access point mode or allow you to disable DHCP. If your router has a built-in access point mode, that's usually the easiest option. But if it doesn't, don't worry. We can configure it manually. And before you press that reset button, there's something you should know. If router 2 is already configured and you know its login, you may not need to reset it. If you're unsure what's configured on it, a factory reset gives you a clean starting point. So resetting isn't always required. But if this is an old router you haven't used in years and you don't know its settings, starting fresh can save you a lot of troubleshooting later. Here's what we're building. Your main router stays connected to the internet. Router 2 connects to router 1 with Ethernet. And router 2 provides additional Wi-Fi in another part of your home. Think of router 1 as the boss. Router 2 simply extends the network. But for that to work properly, we need to make 3 important changes. Let's start with the IP address. First, we need to find the local IP address of your main router. If you're using Windows, open Command Prompt. Type ipconfig, then press Enter. Find default gateway. You might see 192.168.1.1 or 192.168.0.1. Yours could be different, and that's completely normal. Write this address down. This is the local address of router 1. Now we need to configure router 2. Connect your computer directly to the second router. Open a browser and enter router 2's current IP address. Log in using the router's administrator account. The exact menus depend on the brand, but look for LAN settings, network settings, local network, or something similar. Now look for router 2's LAN IP address. Let's say router 1 uses 192.168.1.1. Router 2 cannot use that same address. We need to give router 2 another address on the same network. For example, 192.168.1.2. But don't blindly use that exact address. Make sure it's not already being used by another device. Ideally, choose an unused address outside your main router's DHCP range, or create a DHCP reservation for router 2. Save the change. Router 2 may reboot. And remember the new IP address because you'll use it later if you need to access router 2's settings again. Now we reach the setting that causes a lot of problems when people connect 2 routers. DHCP. DHCP automatically gives devices their local IP addresses. Router 1 is already doing that job, so router 2 doesn't need to do it again. Turn DHCP off on router 2. Router 1 will handle IP addresses. If both routers run DHCP, you can get random connection problems. Find the DHCP settings on router 2. Change DHCP server from enabled to disabled. Save the settings. The rule is simple. 1 network. 1 DHCP server. Router 1 handles the addresses. Router 2 provides the additional Wi-Fi. Now it's time to connect the routers. And this is where many people make a mistake. They take the Ethernet cable and plug it into the WAN or internet port on router 2. That's not what we're doing here. Instead, we're using LAN-to-LAN. Connect one end of the Ethernet cable to a LAN port on router 1. Then connect the other end to a LAN port on router 2. That's the connection that puts both routers on the same local network. Router 1 continues providing internet. Router 2 provides another Wi-Fi access point. And your devices can communicate across the network. Now let's configure the Wi-Fi. You have 2 choices. You can give router 2 a completely different Wi-Fi name, or you can use the same Wi-Fi name and password as router 1. Using the same name and password can make things more convenient because you don't have to remember another network. But remember, this does not turn the two routers into a true mesh system. Your devices decide when and how they move between access points. For better results, use sensible Wi-Fi channels so the two access points aren't unnecessarily interfering with each other. Now let's see if it actually works. Connect your phone or laptop to router 2. Open a website. Play a YouTube video. And if you want, run a speed test. If everything loads normally, congratulations. Your old router is now working as a second access point. You didn't replace your main router. You didn't buy a mesh system. You simply gave your home another place to connect to Wi-Fi. And here's an important advantage of this setup. Because we're using Ethernet, router 2 doesn't need to sit halfway between the routers. Put it where you actually need the Wi-Fi. If your bedroom has weak Wi-Fi, put router 2 closer to the bedroom. If the upstairs area is weak, place it upstairs. If your home office has poor coverage, put it near your office. As long as you can get an Ethernet connection to router 2, you have much more freedom with placement. But don't hide your new access point in a terrible location. Avoid putting the router inside a closed cabinet. Don't place it directly behind a TV or surrounded by metal objects. And keep it away from major sources of wireless interference when possible. Give the router some open space. Sometimes simply changing the router's position can noticeably improve coverage. Let's quickly recap the entire setup. Step 1. Find router 1's IP address. Step 2. Give router 2 an unused IP address on the same network. Step 3. Turn DHCP off on router 2. Step 4. Connect LAN to LAN. Then configure the Wi-Fi and place router 2 where you need better coverage. Don't throw away your old router. If it supports access point mode or allows you to disable DHCP, it may still have plenty of life left in it. And there's one more thing that can make this setup much faster, where you place the second router's Wi-Fi channels. Even with two correctly configured routers, wireless interference can slow things down. So in the next video, I'll show you how to choose better Wi-Fi channels and reduce interference in your home. If you're trying to get faster and more reliable Wi-Fi without spending a fortune, that's the video to watch next.